See the H&R lift kit we did on Steven's Model Y, also with Tein adjustable dampers. Now we're doing the lowering springs on mine. We went ahead and adjusted the dampers, so it rides really good, actually. Our initial setting was a little bit stiff. Then I went ahead and softened up the dampers. We're about in the middle in the front and 2/3 to the soft end in the rear. So you may want to check out one of our other videos that we're publishing where we actually show the difference in the rebound and compression between the stock dampers and the Tein Endura Pro Plus dampers throughout the damping range. And you'll be able to see how much softer these Teins can make your Tesla. It's substantial, and I can't tell you how amazing this car feels now in comparison to what it used to be. So we've pretty much done it all. We have compared the rebound and compression on Tim's 2020 long range Model Y to 2022 performance Model Y shocks to 2023 Model Y performance shocks to Tein Endura Pro Plus adjustable dampers. We've also driven Tesla Raj's 2023 long-range Model Y. Compared that to my 2023 Model Y Performance. We've shown you images of the part numbers on the EPC catalog from Tesla. EPC standing for Electronic Parts Catalog. So, man, we've definitely done our work, and we have found that there is a difference between the newer performance trim shocks and valving versus the older ones, even earlier last year. The long-range Model Y has also changed substantially in terms of the damping from the factory. And then you've got the Tein adjustable dampers themselves, which, like I said, they're adjustable. You can go stiff, you can go soft. So definitely check out that video. You'll be able to see how fast the rebound is on them from the soft setting to the stiff setting. So right now, got the H&R springs. It publishes as a 1.7 inch drop in the front and a 1.4 inch drop in the rear. My performance Y, and I don't know if that's based off of the performance height or the long range height. The long range height from hub to fender is about 430 millimeters. The performance Y is about 415 millimeters. So there is a lowering spring essentially that comes factory on the performance Model Y. My car now sits at 395 in the front, so that was a 20 millimeter drop in the front, and actually at 410 in the rear, so it only lowered about 5 mils or a quarter inch in the back. So I'm hoping it'll settle some more, because I have seen other images of Model Ys with these springs and it does look lower. It looks even more level. Mine does have a slight rake, which does seem to work well with the performance Model Y wheels, because the tires themselves are different diameters. So the aesthetic isn't bad at all. I think they will settle over time, but I'll say that they ride really good. I think at our current damper settings, this rides smoother than my Flex Z's. No additional NVH, you know, it's a factory upper mounts. They're just lowering springs. The H&R springs do look to be linear in rate, front and rear. I believe the eyebox are progressive in the rear if they're anything like the Model 3. But don't quote me on that. It's been a while. We only installed one set on a Y, and I didn't like the fact that they were lower in the back than the front. It kind of had a reverse rake. And that's why we wanted to test out the H&Rs, because they do publish more of a forward rake, which I would prefer, especially if you're going to add any additional payload or you're going to tow with your Y, then I think these H&Rs are more suitable for that. So another thing that we put on this car at the same time are the White Line hybrid compliance bearings. So we replaced the OEM rubber bushings on the compliance arm or the compression rod arm with a White Line hybrid bearing. So essentially it's a spherical bearing encased inside of a polyurethane bushing, and all of that gets pressed into the arm. And I will say, I actually don't hear any additional noise from them. I forgot they were in the car. That's how impressed I am with them. So one thing you'll see, I need to put some spacers on it. So I think I'm gonna get some Aspira spacers and space out the factory Uber turbines. Probably need about an 18 mil spacer front and rear with our current camber settings. My camber in the front is around 1.5, so negative 1.5 degrees of camber in the front. And the rear, I do have mountain pass adjustable rear camber arms. I'm around 1 degree of negative camber in the rear. So check out the B-roll. You'll kind of see what the fitment looks like now that it's been lowered. One thing I tell people is that once you lower your Y, the wheels will camber in a little bit, and it will give the appearance of the wheels being more sunken in than they were when they were at stock height. So as soon as you lower the vehicle, it kind of exaggerates the position of the wheel inside of the fender. And that's why we always suggest people to get spacers or get different offset wheels to make things look a little bit more flush. So we're going to go ahead and create another video with Aspira to install their spacers on all the different Model Y wheels. I think the only one we're missing are the 20s, but I've got 19-inch Geminis and the Ubers, so we can show you what size spacer. We'll show you how to measure the back of the wheels to see if they're compatible, all that good stuff. So that'll be a really great video. Stay tuned for that one. All right, we got some speed bumps now. Let's see how this goes. Wow, the back was good. And I never take speed bumps that fast. So, brake, speed bump, speed bump. That's way better than stock. And we're on 21-inch wheels. Not too shabby. All right, so we are on one of the back roads. It's pretty broken. It's a pretty industrial area, so there's a lot of trucks, semi-trucks that come through here. So we're gonna give this a go. It definitely takes all of the little reflectors really well. It's taking all of the big dips really well. On my way to work this morning, I could feel it. There's some real big dips on the freeway. So going about 70 miles an hour, definitely feel the rebound. So when that thing wants to kind of take air, you can tell that the tire pushes back to the ground. And then as that vehicle comes back down, you can feel the comfort and the softness of the shocks doing their job. You don't feel this harsh impact like that wheel just slaps the ground. It basically never leaves, and then the dampers really just soften the ride down. So yeah, this road has a lot of little pits and divots, really rough asphalt. This would be pretty brutal on the factory suspension with these 21s. Railroad tracks. That was very good. More broken stuff here. Yeah, it's just eating everything up, and it's not even super soft like a Cadillac the way we have the damper set. It still feels sporty. Like this thing can still go, take corners, all of that. So Tein does publish that these are 16-way adjustable. We have counted more than 16 clicks in the rear, but once you get to 16, that valve's completely open. So click 16 and up won't do anything. And just to remind you, we always go righty-tighty, close the valve, and then count backwards. So all the numbers that we might share with you in the comments, if anybody asks, are going to be counting backwards from full clockwise. So we call that open. So if we say it's 5 clicks open, you go to full stiff, count 5 clicks back. We will refer to that as 5 clicks open, 10 clicks open, so on and so forth. What's up, everybody? We went ahead and put the H&R Lowering Springs on my Y, along with the Tein Endura Pro Plus adjustable shocks, and just want to give you my final thoughts. Took it for a drive. I had the shock set a little bit on the stiffer end, similar to how Steven originally had his set up on his Performance Y. I thought it was too stiff, then I softened it up to Tim's settings, the ones that he has on his long range Y, and it rode like butter. I mean, the car still handled really great, ate up all the bumps, all the divots, surface imperfections. I thought it was a really great setup for something around, I think, let's see, $660 for the shocks, maybe $350, $360 or something for the springs, another $170 to $400 depending on what kind of camber arm you want, but let's say $170 at the cheap end. So, you know, maybe around $1,200 or something like that. And great setup. I was just really, really happy with the way it rode. The only thing that was kind of not the greatest, and I don't know if this will be the same for everybody, is that my Y did have a rake to it. So it had about a 15 millimeter difference between the front and the rear, which is along the lines of what H&R publishes. I wish it was a little bit more level, but I prefer a forward rake versus a reverse rake, like I mentioned before. So I got about 20 millimeter drop in the front, but only about, it actually settled a little bit. I just measured it. It dropped about a 1/4 inch in the rear from factory. So like I had said before, my factory measurement from hub to fender was 415 millimeters. After I installed the lowering springs, I was at 395 in the front, and I ended up at 407 in the rear. So about an 8 millimeter drop in the rear and 20 millimeter drop in the front. That's it. I mean, I was really happy with the way it rode. We put my 21-inch Uber turbines back on it to just really just throw everything we could at it. Kind of like anybody has a factory Model Y, wants to get a slight drop out of it, but retain their factory wheels. We did exactly that. So it rode way better than factory, even lowered. The only thing I would do now is I would actually put some spacers on it. So I think the guys and I are going to put together a short video on how to measure your wheels for checking spacer compatibility, as well as putting a chart together for what spacer sizes we recommend for what kind of lowering or what kind of camber settings you may have. I think on my car, it'll probably be around an 18 to 20 mil spacer in the front, Uber turbine, and probably a 10 millimeter in the rear. So yeah, stay tuned for that one, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.